Rain whispered against the Carter family's glass walls that night, the kind of rain that made secrets breathe louder. Emily sat in her room, earbuds in, pretending to study. But her focus was on the faint voice echoing down the hall. Her stepmother, Laura, was whispering again, the same name she'd been saying for weeks. Elena? Who was Elena? Why did that name make Laura's tone tremble like fear itself? Emily pressed her ear to the door, heart drumming. I told you, I can't go back. Laura hissed into the phone. Not after what happened. Emily's pulse spiked. Go back where? What happened? She caught a glimpse of Laura's reflection in the window, a perfect smile hiding something dark beneath. In that moment, Emily realized she didn't really know the woman living under her roof. And when Laura hung up, she slid a silver key into a small locked box, the same box Emily had never seen opened. The next morning, sunlight tried to wash away the storm, but the house still felt heavy. Daniel hummed in the kitchen, frying eggs, unaware that his daughter barely slept. You look pale, sweetheart, he said, glancing up. Emily forced a smile. Just school stress. But her eyes kept darting to Laura, who was reading the paper like nothing had happened. When Laura reached for the coffee pot, a silver chain slipped from her sleeve, holding the same key from last night. Emily's breath caught. What's that? She asked casually. Laura looked up, smiled faintly. Just something sentimental. Then she tucked it back, her gaze too steady. At school, Emily can't stop thinking about the key. Between classes, she tells Noah everything. It's like she's living two lives, she whispers. Noah frowns. You sure you're not imagining it? No. She called someone Elena, and she said she can't go back. He hesitates, then nods. Then we find out who Elena is. For the first time, Emily feels both fear and relief. Someone believes her. That evening, Emily sneaks into the hallway where Laura's jewelry box sits. The house is silent except for the ticking clock. Her hand trembles as she uses a paperclip to lift the latch. Click. Inside lies an old photograph. Laura standing beside another family, holding a little girl who looks just like Emily at age 5. Her stomach twists. On the back, faded ink reads, Elena Morgan, 2010. When Laura returns home later that night, she finds the box slightly ajar. Her face drains of color. Upstairs, Emily lies awake, clutching the photograph under her pillow. Downstairs, Laura whispers to herself, not again. Please, not again. And from outside the house, a dark car idles by the curb. Someone watching. The morning after, Emily couldn't unsee a photo burned into her mind. Elena Morgan, 2010. She walked through the halls like a ghost. In the library, Noah waited with his laptop, pulling up search results. There's nothing, he said, scrolling. No social media, no public record, just nothing. Emily frowned. People don't just vanish. Noah hesitated. Unless they were meant to. Then, a headline appeared at the bottom of the page. Elena Morgan missing after house fire, declared dead. 2011. Emily's fingers froze. The photo in her pocket now felt radioactive. Noah, she whispered. That's her. That's Laura. That night, Emily couldn't stop replaying the article's words. Declared dead. House fire. Missing child. She stared at her stepmother across the dinner table, searching for any sign of truth in her perfect smile. Laura noticed the stare. Something wrong, Emily? She asked sweetly. No, Emily replied too quickly. Daniel laughed gently, trying to lighten the silence. You two are like spies. Laura's smile froze for half a second, just long enough for Emily to know Daniel was right. They were spies, and one of them was about to get caught. Later, Emily met Noah under the old bridge by the river, their secret place since childhood. The water shimmered black beneath the moonlight. She changed her name, Emily said, voice shaking. But why? Noah studied the photo again. Look at the man next to her. Could be her husband. Maybe your dad wasn't her first. Emily turned away. Or maybe he wasn't supposed to be her second. The river carried their words into darkness, somewhere far downstream. Something metallic glinted under the moon, a hint of what waited ahead. The next day, Emily returned home early from school, the house unusually quiet. She crept into Laura's room. The jewelry box was gone. Heart-pounding, she checked drawers, shelves. Empty. But then behind a row of scarves, she found a second box. Identical in shape, but black instead of silver. Inside, old passports. One read Elena Morgan. The other, Laura Carter. Same photo, same photo, same face. Different names. Emily covered her mouth, shaking. Behind her, a floorboard creaked. Emily turned slowly. Laura stood in the doorway, face unreadable, voice calm. You shouldn't be in here. Emily's hands shook. Who is Elena Morgan? Silence. Laura stepped closer, her expression soft but eyes glacial. That woman doesn't exist anymore. Emily's voice cracked. But she looks exactly like you. Laura smiled faintly, sorrow shadowing her face. Then I suppose we both have ghosts, don't we? She closed the door quietly behind her, locking it from the inside. The morning after the confrontation, Emily sat outside the police station, the photo of Elena Morgan burning a hole in her pocket. She hadn't planned to walk in, but something inside told her the truth lived here. Inside, a detective with tired eyes and a half-drunk cup of coffee noticed her. You look lost, she said gently. I'm Detective Claire Morrison. Emily hesitated, then handed over the photograph. Do you know this woman? Claire's eyes sharpened. Where did you get this? Emily swallowed hard. She's my stepmother. Silence fell like a gavel. Claire leaned forward, voice dropping. That woman died 14 years ago in a fire. Are you sure? At home, Laura moved through the kitchen in silence, pretending nothing had changed. Daniel noticed her stillness. You okay? He asked. You've been quiet. Laura smiled too quickly, just tired. But her eyes flicked toward the living room window, toward a car that had been parked across the street all morning. She whispered, They found me. Upstairs, Emily watched through her window, unaware that she and Laura were both being watched by the same shadow. Detective Claire sat alone that evening, flipping through a dusty case file labeled Elena Morgan. Burned house. Missing child. Declared dead, but as she compared old photographs, her brow furrowed. The faces matched too perfectly. She picked up the phone. This isn't identity theft, she murmured. It's resurrection. On her computer screen, a younger version of Elena Morgan smiled beside a man, and in the background, barely visible, stood a child with bright eyes. The caption, Elena Morgan with daughter, 2010. Claire zoomed in. The little girl looked exactly like Emily. That night, Emily crept into the attic, drawn by something she couldn't explain. Boxes lined the dusty floor. Untouched for years, one read Elena M. inside. She found newspaper clippings, her own mother's obituary among them. But in a photo standing near the coffin was Laura. Her stepmother had attended her real mother's funeral. A chill raced through Emily's body. How long have you been watching us? She whispered. The next morning, Emily confronted her father. Dad, how did you meet Laura? Daniel smiled faintly. A fundraiser for widows after your mom passed. Why? Emily's eyes filled with tears. Because she was there before that, Dad. She was at Mom's funeral. Daniel's face drained of color. That's impossible. Emily placed the photo on the table. His hand trembled as he touched it. Emily, he whispered. What have you done? And upstairs, unseen, Laura listened through the vent, her expression unreadable, one tear tracing her cheek. That night, thunder rolled like an omen. Emily sat alone in her room, phone buzzing with Noah's texts. Are you okay? Did your dad believe you? She didn't answer. Downstairs, voices rose. Daniel and Laura were arguing something about the past and a promise. Emily crept down the staircase just in time to hear Laura's trembling voice. "You don't understand, Daniel." "I didn't lie to hurt you. I lied to keep her safe." Emily froze mid-step. "Safe from what?" she whispered under her breath. Then Laura's voice cracked. "Because if they knew who she really was, they'd come for her too." Daniel's voice shook. "What do you mean, who she really was?" Laura's hands trembled as she reached for him. "You think I found you by accident? Your wife's death wasn't random. It was a message. I tried to protect Emily before they could." Daniel stepped back, eyes narrowing. "Before who could?" Laura's expression twisted with guilt. "The people I once worked for. The same ones who made me disappear." Upstairs, Emily clutched the railing, realization striking like lightning. Laura wasn't just lying. She was hiding from someone dangerous. The next morning, Emily met Detective Claire at the station again, clutching the passports. Claire studied them silently. "You were right," she said. "Elena Morgan didn't die in that fire. She faked her death to escape a child trafficking network she once exposed from the inside." Emily's throat closed. "And my mom?" Claire hesitated. "She was one of their targets, Emily." The world seemed to tilt. "So Laura, save me." Claire's voice softened. "Maybe. But she also destroyed everything to do it." When Emily returned home, the house felt smaller, haunted by truth. Laura sat at the dining table, pale and trembling, holding a framed photo of Emily as a child. "You were never supposed to find out this way," she whispered. Emily's voice was sharp. "So it's true. You're Elena Morgan." Laura nodded slowly, eyes glassy. "I became Laura Carter to protect you. The night your mother died, they were coming for her and for you. I had to make them think I died too." Emily's tears spilled silently. "You've been lying to me my whole life." Laura's answer came like a whisper through breaking glass. "No. I've been loving you in secret." That night, Emily stood in the rain outside, head tilted to the sky, trying to breathe. Everything she knew, her mother, her stepmother, her own past, had shattered. Behind her, Laura stepped onto the porch, umbrella in hand. "They'll come for me again," Laura said softly. "If they find out you know the truth." Emily turned, eyes fierce. "Then we stop hiding." Laura's lips parted in disbelief. But before she could answer, the same black car from before rolled slowly down the street, headlights slicing through the rain, and stopped in front of their house. The next morning, the Carter home was silent. Too silent. Daniel stood in the doorway, looking at his wife and daughter sitting opposite each other at the breakfast table like strangers. "Can someone tell me what's going on?" he demanded. Laura's hand trembled on her coffee cup. Emily met his gaze. "She isn't who she says she is, Dad." Daniel laughed nervously. "Emily, stop." But Laura's voice broke through. "She's right." The words fell like glass. Daniel froze. "Then who are you?" Laura's eyes filled. "Someone who tried to save you both." Daniel slammed his hands on the table. "You think you can just erase the past?" Laura's voice cracked. "I didn't erase it. I ran from it." Emily stood trembling. "And what about my mom?" "Did you run from her, too?" Silence fell. Laura's face went white. "What are you saying?" Emily pulled out the photo from the attic. The one showing Laura at her mother's funeral. "You were there," she whispered, "before you ever met Dad." Daniel stared at the photo, disbelief and fury colliding. Laura whispered, "It's not what you think." Later that day, Emily met Noah behind the school gym, her voice shaking. "She was at my mom's funeral, years before she married my dad. Noah frowned. Then she's hiding more than just her name. Emily nodded, pulling out the photo. Detective Claire said she faked her death to escape a trafficking ring. What if my mom knew about it too? Noah's face darkened. You think your mom's death wasn't an accident? Emily's eyes filled with tears. I think Laura knows who killed her. At sunset, Daniel sat in his car, engine off, staring at the family home. Inside, Laura paced the living room, phone pressed to her ear. They found the file, she whispered. No, not yet. But if Emily goes to the police again, it's over. Daniel's face hardened. He quietly stepped out of the car, walking up to the porch unseen. Inside, Laura ended the call and froze when she saw his reflection in the window. For the first time, Daniel didn't look like her husband. He looked like a man seeing a stranger. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. She crept downstairs, determined to find the file Laura mentioned. In the study, she found a folder beneath the floorboard, filled with photos, reports, and one police document accident report, death of Anna Carter. But scribbled in the corner were two words in Laura's handwriting, not accident. Emily's hand shook as she lifted the page. Beneath it, a single photograph, her mother standing beside a woman with Laura's face years younger. Her whisper cut through the dark. She knew my mom. Detective Claire sat in her car outside the Carter home, the file on her lap glowing under the streetlight. The truth inside it was enough to destroy a family or save one. Inside were surveillance photos from a decade ago, Laura, under her real name, Elena Morgan, standing beside a group of men later arrested for human trafficking. Her voice echoed in Claire's memory from the first interview. I can't go back. Now Claire understood why. She dialed Emily's number. We need to talk. Tonight. Emily met Claire in secret behind the library. The detective's tone was heavy. Your stepmother used to work undercover. She wasn't one of them. She exposed them. Emily frowned. Then why hide? Claire sighed. Because she took something from them. A child. Emily's voice shook. Me. Claire nodded. Your mother wasn't your birth mother, Emily. She adopted you after Laura saved you. The world tilted. So, I'm not even... Her voice faded. Claire placed a hand on her shoulder. You were loved, Emily. That's what matters. But the people Laura ran from, they found her. At home, Laura packed a single suitcase, her movements sharp and deliberate. Daniel blocked the doorway. You're running again, he said bitterly. If I stay, we all die, Laura snapped. You think this is about guilt? It's about survival. Daniel's anger crumbled into confusion. Who's after you? Laura turned, tears in her eyes. The same people who killed your wife. His voice broke. You knew. Laura looked down. I was there. I tried to save her, but I was too late. Daniel staggered back, horror freezing him in place. Meanwhile, Emily scrolled through the files Claire had sent. Photos, reports, financial statements, all leading back to a charity foundation Laura once managed. One document stopped her cold. Project Haven, Child Relocation Program. In the corner, her own baby photo. Underneath subject #7, reassigned identity. Protected by EM. Emily's breath caught. EM. Elorna Morgan. Her entire life was a cover story. Outside, the hum of an engine grew louder. A black van rolled to a stop outside the house. Laura froze mid-step, suitcase in hand. Daniel looked through the window. Two men in dark coats approached the porch. They found us, Laura whispered. Upstairs, Emily's phone buzzed. Claire's voice urgent through the line. Don't let her leave. I'm on my way. But before Emily could respond, the front door burst open. One man grabbed Laura. Daniel lunged to protect her, shouting, Run! The screen cut to black with the echo of a gunshot. The gunshot echoed through the rain. Emily bolted downstairs, her feet slipping on the wet floor. Daniel lay bleeding near the doorway, gasping. Dad it! she screamed. Laura knelt beside him, pressing her hands against the wound, tears mixing with rainwater. It wasn't supposed to end like this, Laura sobbed. Daniel reached for her hand. Save her, he whispered, eyes shifting toward Emily. Just save her. Then his hand went limp. Outside, sirens began to wail in the distance. The police swarmed the house. Detective Claire ran through the chaos, shouting, "Where are they?" She found Emily trembling on the stairs, clutching her father's jacket. "They took her," Emily cried. "They took Laura." Claire's face hardened. "Get in the car." Minutes later, they were speeding through back roads, headlights slicing the fog. Emily stared out the window. "If she's not my mother," she said quietly. "Then who am I?" Claire hesitated before answering. "That's what we're going to find out." They found the van hours later, abandoned near the docks. Inside, only Laura's necklace and the same silver key from the first night. Emily picked it up, trembling. Claire examined the scene. "They wanted her alive," she said. "Why?" Emily turned the key in her palm. It had new initials scratched into it, AC, her mother's name. "She left this for me," Emily whispered. "It means something." Claire looked out at the dark ocean. Then, "That's where we go next." They followed the clue to an old safe house miles from town. The same address written on one of the files Emily found. Inside, dust-covered furniture and a single photograph pinned to the wall. Her mother, Anna Carter, standing beside a woman who looked exactly like Laura. Same face, same eyes, but softer. Claire frowned. Twins. Emily's breath hitched. Laura wasn't lying. She didn't steal me. She saved me. Claire stepped closer to the photo. "And your mother, Anna, she's still alive." Days later, the Carter home stood empty. Emily placed the silver key on the table where it all began. Her voiceover carried through the silent rooms. She wasn't my mother. She wasn't my enemy. She was the only person who ever told me the truth, even if it broke everything. The front door creaked open. Detective Claire stepped inside. "We found her," she said softly. Emily turned, tears welling. "Who?" Claire smiled faintly. "Your real mother. She's alive, and she's been waiting for you."